Mm-mm. What's up, sir? Were you here?
Yo, you there? Sorry,
I'm there.
buddy. I'm having a lag spike here. I
Uh,
apologize.
no worries. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I appreciate you for coming on. Everybody, welcome to the I am AK Eagles, and this is the Eagles Uncensored podcast. With me today, I got my good guy with me, Gayle Saunders. I appreciate you for coming on, my guy. Why don't you introduce yourself and let everyone know a little bit about you?
Name's Gayle Saunders. Co-founder of Fourth and John. Talking Eagles 24/7. Literally, like it's my job or my lifestyle. We talking about the birds is what we do. A lot of diehards. Just enjoying the birds, man. It's really something. Especially around this time, everybody's fired up for it. But yeah, man. We have a podcast called Fourth and John, so if you want to check us out there, we're always talking to birds every day, man.
Yeah, for sure, dude. I definitely watch that, from time to time, and I keep up on it. And you guys do a good job over there, man. So thank you for doing that.
Oh man, appreciate it, man. Hey, man.
Um,
Hey, it's great to connect with all you Eagle fans out there. So always a good time.
yes, it definitely is. What's going on, Jordy? How you doing, my guy? Joseph Campbell, how you doing? Appreciate you for coming on. Start out with Jalen Hurts. I know he's caught a lot of grief this off season, not being ranked in Chris Sims' top 40 and all that. But, all in all, he looks pretty decent so far, and each day he's gotten better and each day he's improved. So, how do you feel about Hurts and, what's his ceiling like for this year?
I think ceiling's high for Hurts. I mean, he's finally got the keys to the car. He's gonna take it for a spin. Do the trust in Hurts? That's yet to be seen. But just the fact that he knows that he's the guy coming in, I feel like he's in a better space than he was, let's say, last year. I know Brandon Graham alluded to it. Talked about Jalen coming in, knowing that he's the guy. You talked about him getting better every day at practice. Obviously, that's where you want to see him get better. He's trending in the right direction. I know Steichen has been a big fan of his deep balls and his ability to hit guys in stride. So that's what you want to see and you want to hear. Still early in camp, they're still getting used to his players and the new offense. So there's going to be misfires. People will count how many times he missed someone. It's training camp. So
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing. I love what I'm seeing from Hurts. I love his improvement that he's making every day. And not just that, but he's proven to be a really good leader for this team. So the other two, though, Mullins and Flacco. Could we possibly see Mullins beat Flacco out? Do you think for the number two?
I think you like Flacco's experience. I think Mullins. He's if you put him with the twos, does he have a different outcome versus being with the threes? That's possible. I think he's had a good couple practices in the beginning. I know he had a couple bad practices in between, but overall, I think just having the incubator room where Jalen Hurts is going to be at. If he has a veteran he
Right.
can lean on, that's a great opportunity to pick his brain. And as a guy who's won a Super Bowl, I think Nick Mullins is hungry. I think, you know, 49ers. I know a lot of 49ers fans were, upset to see Mullins go. He had an opportunity to get some games under his belt last season. Yeah, he was in, but I feel like for what you're paying Nick Mullins, you have a nice little group to play off of, and competition is everything for me. So I like the group that we have right now.
Yeah. No, I do too. You know, I even made the joke yesterday we should kind of trade Joe Flacco to Indy and let Mullins be CB2 and then go and get Gardner Minshew or something to back him up. But I know that's not going to happen. But
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of swag between if you had Jalen Hurts and Gardner Minshew in the same room. That's a lot of swag, man.
right,
That's a lot of swag at QB. But yeah,
right. So let's talk about Smith real quick. You know, I'm not too worried about him. You know, I know he's going to have a lot of mental reps here over the next week or so. You know, with him being out. We all know he's a good route runner. We all know he has good hands. You know, so I'm not really concerned into that aspect. And as long as he keeps working on his hands every day, you know, and catching the football, you know, I think he'll be okay when he comes back week one. I know some people are concerned about the chemistry, but I don't know. Jalen and him, they both kind of seem to show me a little bit that they already have some chemistry. So, you know, what do you think about that? Do you think his injury is going to hurt that, or do you think they'll be okay?
I mean, just anytime a rookie misses training camp, it's mental reps and it's muscle memory and it's be where you're supposed to be. Obviously, we know he's a run. We know that he's a mental high with him. So I'm not worried about that in any sense. It's just that missing training camp reps. It's not. Is it detrimental to his career any season or whatever? Like, no, it just would speed up the process. So like when people are just like, hey man, he's it's no big deal. I'm like, it is kind of a big deal in terms of where you'd want it to be at the start of the season. So I'm sure he's going to be okay. I just would like to see
Mhm.
our wide receiver one, out there running routes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we all can agree on that. You know, I would love to see him out there right now, but you know, I would rather just be cautionary and just let him rest and be 100% before he steps back out on that field. You know, because he is our first round pick, number 10
Yeah.
overall. So
If I was being honest, I'm more concerned about where Jalen Rager's at than Devontae Smith. Although Devontae Smith is dealing with an injury, I think Rager is also he's dealing with something at this moment that you could see that it's you know obviously he's going to his friend got murdered. He missed the funeral, couldn't be there. Definitely going through some things. You know the that he's going through right now. It's going to make him strong. Sirianni, man, he was coming down on him today in practice. You know, is he there mentally right now? Like they need him to be. I mean, it's understandable. So
yeah, no, that's one thing I do really like about Nick Sirianni, man. He's not afraid to call people out. He's not afraid to, stop the play and have it corrected. You know, so all in all, man, I just have a really good feeling, about Nick and his coaching ability and stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, you're talking about a guy who, it's his first head coaching gig. He has to set the foundation for this team. He's got to develop the culture. Um, when it all comes down to it, especially being on a new team and having new guys and a new quarterback, new position coaches, you really have to set that down the foundation. You have to set down the fundamentals, what you expect from players, and you have to teach it to them early because the season is right around the corner. So I feel like them laying down the foundation and making everybody accountable. It's important, man, and I feel like he's got to set the tone for what he wants to see in his football team and set the tone for his football coaching career as well. So whatever he has to do it, I'm all there for it.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you, man. And speaking of them, other than Nick and JG, who do you feel is probably the most important coach that they've gotten this off.
I think Brian Johnson, his the incubator system for him, like in terms of a guy who knows where he's from, understands his background. I mean, really understands his background. Can he speak the same language? A guy who's always wanted to coach Jalen Hurts. Now he has this weird opportunity. So he's going to be in his ear. He's the guy that's going to help him develop his career. And I think with Steichen and between Steichen, Sirianni, and BJ, I think those are they're all going to be equally important to getting the right message across to Jalen and then having him perform it out on the field. So, but yeah, I think having that guy in his ear and building his confidence and helping him with the playbook definitely super important.
Yeah, I've always had a feeling that, like my two favorites, especially from this new coaching staff, would have to be Rallis and Rocker. I believe these two are going to bring out um, another gear in this defensive line that we didn't have a couple of years, prior here. And Rallis, I believe he's going to be able to flip this linebacker core around and get it back to being respected like it was back in the early 2000s. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it was some of the things that I was hearing last year about last year's coach. It was interesting. Like can they get the best out of Fletcher Cox? I still, there's people talking about like, oh, is he losing a step? I'm like, I think he's good. I just think going through last season, it was tough for everyone. Tough
Yeah.
to see the positives with a 4-win football team. So I think new energy. I think that defensive line up front is going to be serious. They got some serious talent. If they could all put it together, it's going to be a nice little front up line.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of Fletch, he had 8 sacks last year. Okay. Do you see him, because of his age and everything, do you see him leveling off now? Like, do you see him staying right around 8 to 10, or could he possibly have another resurgence? I mean, does he have enough left in him?
I think he can, man. I think if he's going to play inspired football, and you never know, when you get the right group of guys who push you. You talk about Javon Hargrave looking much better this year. He slimmed down a little bit, and he's looking good. And I think
Yeah.
he's been showcasing. Like if you get him to give a nice little push in the middle, teamed up with the Fletcher Cox, I mean, things could open up. Like, and if they're eating all over the place, I mean, Sweat, tremendous edge rusher, like he's developing into a nice edge rusher, man.
Yeah.
Pressure burst pipes. So I think he can, man. I do.
Now, I gotta ask this just for future references, though. Do you see him being here after this year, or even before the trade deadline is over this year?
I think they could start. I mean, you could see by the way of them bringing guys in, Javon Hargraves, drafting some potential DTs that can, that are multiple, to Pelotu. I could see that they're trying to set something up, but it's look at the money, follow the money. Where you see the high cap hits, and you're just like, hey, well, he's not getting any younger. You're gonna have to start looking for his replacement, and that's why I was like a couple years back. I was like, man, go get yourself a Jeffrey Simmons. Even like if you would have added him, and people were like, you're gonna take him with that ACL or whatever. I'm like, bro, like you add him in the mix early on, and then that would have been nice. But we'll see, man.
Yeah.
We'll see what they have planned for this year. But I feel like it'll be nice to see them develop together.
You make a valid point there, and I love how you said that. Follow the money. Between both our two starting DTs, I believe we have roughly around $50 million in just those two players.
Hmm.
Hargraves has 30 million and Fletch has 20. So that's a lot of money for these two positions right there.
I mean, that's just go down the roster, go log into
Yeah.
Spot Track and see where the money's at, and then you'll have your answers. Like if you're not getting production
Yeah.
from whatever spot it is, and you look at the cap hit, and you're like, all right, make that make sense. It doesn't. If they're a tight end too, maybe, and they're making 8.5, does that make sense? You just follow the money, especially from
Right.
you try to. We all try to like think like we're Howie and think how he would think. So I mean, in terms of getting him in the right mindset, if they want to move on from Fletch, I understand what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I'm right there with you, man. I've said that too. I don't want him to, but I understand it. That one's a hard one for me. There's a couple people on this team that is hard. Like I understand it, but I don't want it to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, Fletcher Cox was the guy that I was like predicting that they would draft, and I fell in love with the player before he was even here. And I called that one. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, yo, Fletcher Cox is the guy to draft. There's no other player. And when we got him, I was excited. So just watching him develop into who the guy I thought he was when we before we even drafted him, it's been great to see his career on the rise. And is he Aaron Donald? No, I mean, but who is? I just think he's a
Right.
destructive player on the inside, man.
Is there one that you called this year?
Let's see. Oh, Devonta Smith. That's who I want. He was my number one. J.C. Horn
Okay.
was my other. So I felt like we were in the range. And then Landon Dickerson is another guy who I felt, I was saying weeks before the draft that if Stoutland felt like, he had the inside track on an Alabama guy, Stoutland knows everything that he needs to
Mm-hmm.
know. And if he feels comfortable, I feel like he could have been the pick in the second round. When we drafted him, was I like super geeked? I was just there's other guys on the board. I was like, well, maybe they get somewhere else. But I feel like when you talk about, I was thinking about day two being a potential interior offensive lineman, center. That's what I was thinking. And so when I went there, I was just like, all right, well, as long as he's healthy, man. Like as long as he's healthy, because it's a whole if healthy thing with Landon Dickerson.
Yeah. Big if for sure. Does that scare you though? Is that a worry of yours? I mean, do you think we reached on this one? Do you think he is kind of Carson in that sense where he is injury prone a little bit? Because he has blown out both ACLs,
I mean, you'd like to think that they made the right selection, but based off talent, based off of like some guys that I actually trust in the industry that they're offensive lineman guys. He was high on a lot of people's lists, and I mean, he's a big boy, man. Like he plays
Oh
violent,
yeah, oh
and
yeah.
his play style is something you like, and you also like his versatility, inside, outside, potential center, potential guard. Could if you had to throw him out and play tackle, he could do that too. But I feel like from a leadership standpoint, a guy putting him in your locker room. I mean, two guys from Alabama who know how to win. When they were going through the COVID situation, he was a guy who started his own little training facility uh, at his residence where guys would show up and he would hold them
Mhm.
accountable. So you talk from a leadership standpoint, he's got the intangibles, he's got the makeup, and then he's coming from a winning program. The fact how we've been begging them to draft guys from Alabama for how long? I mean,
Long time.
I mean, you got two nice gems from Alabama
Yeah.
on your team right now. So
Do we count Jalen Hurts as one of those?
I think I mean, you can. I mean, I feel like
Is he more of an Oklahoma guy?
I'd say both. You could count him. I mean, the mindset. The mindset. You talk about him coming in as a freshman, not being the guy, and coming in and taking the 5 stars job. I mean, it's kind of reminiscent to what he did last year, coming in, taking the 5 stars job, and they warned people, like, if you get Jalen Hurts in your locker room, watch out. Team will gravitate towards
Yeah.
him. I've heard that from a lot of draft analysts, and the fact that he did that, and the fact that stuff that I was hearing from you know from players inside the locker room saying that they really gravitated towards Jalen Hurts last season, like his leadership, his mentality, the respect level that they right away. So hey, it is what it is, man.
Hey, he does it to me, bro. Like he's got me over here believing. I mean, there's some people out there that truly, I'm one that says we're going at least 11, 12 wins this year. But I'm blaming that on Hurts because he has me so oversight. But he's definitely a leader. He's definitely somebody that I would love to run my team. You know, he I just believe so much in this kid. He's got the work ethic, he's got the drive, the motivation. Just he has to put it together. So I'm all for this, and but that's kind of what leads me into this next question because we have to protect Hurts. Is this left tackle position, man? It's getting a little rough, and in my opinion, I've kind of wrote Dillard off. Because
Mm-hmm.
what Mailata has achieved in 5 years, from a football standpoint, not knowing the game and where he is now, at least in my eyes, in my opinion, he has either matched him or is maybe a little bit better. So at this point, if he's going to beat out Dillard, in my opinion, we should probably trade him. How about you? And at
I mean,
least
I
try and
think
get something for
I mean, he's not a guy that gives you versatility. You're talking about he
him.
probably give you back up the left tackle position. Is he strong enough to play on the inside? I'm not sure about that, but left tackles do go down. Some of my friends spoke to their agent friends, and they're saying, what would he be worth on the market? Probably a 6th-round pick. So I mean, just in terms of Jordan Mailata, like he's a guy that I had in my mock drafts in a 7th-round pick when he came out, and everyone was like laughing at me, like why you got the Australia, like you got the rugby player. I said, bro, like if they gave him an official visit and Stoutland was walking him through the process down at they had the IMG Academy where they had all the
Hmm.
foreign players coming in. I said, Stoutland walked this guy through the whole process. He saw something, and then I went back and started watching rugby tape of Jordan Mailata, and to just see where he is from all the tape study I did on like his movement skills and being like, just to be here where he's
Hmm.
about to get this starting gig, bro. I'm like, yo, he's come so far, and the fact that he's playing with confidence, a mean streak. You listen to some of the running backs talk about the running game and the potential linemen up front. They didn't mention Dillard. They mentioned Mailata up front. Kerryon Johnson was talking about, I believe today, he was just saying like didn't mention Dillard. So
Yeah.
we're in a good place, man. You got a guy who you forget the blind side, make a movie about Jordan Mailata. It would be way better. I'm not
Right. And,
talking about the
and,
right
and no
guy.
lie, man, Mailata actually reminds me a lot of Michael Moore. How about you?
I mean, I think he's just his fluidity as an athlete, like the fact that he moves at his size. Kerryon
Yeah.
Johnson was mentioning that just looking at Jordan Mailata move, he's like he doesn't move like a big man. He moves
Yeah.
like an athlete. Um, so I mean, a real recognizes real. I think all the beat writers are all feeling a certain way about the competition already. They feel like it's it's already locked. I mean, I had Mailata locked in as my starter uh already. Like I said,
Yeah, me
I was
too.
like, oh, ESPN has Dillard Dillard at left tackle one. I said, what? I was like, bro, I was like, they're just put that's nah, that's not. I was like, that's Mailata's job, and here we are,
Yeah,
and I'm okay to call it.
yeah, I am too. You know, I kind of look at it in this way. With Mylata, because how freakishly large this man is and how strong he is, even if he gets beat, he can somehow win with his natural freakish strength. To where I can't say Dillard will do that. You know what I mean?
I mean, the thing about Dillard when he came out, they liked his athleticism, but for me, I was like, his functional strength is where I had the concern because I'm a crazy nut when it comes to like draft, and the fact that as a freshman he was around 250,
Hmm.
really super light, and you talk about the weight that he would have to put on, um, and was that you know I had some concerns. I know Stoutland liked his football IQ, but coming out, but I just felt like the functional strength was going to be an issue his first year, um, you know, and here we are, man. Like he got injured, and that it is what it is. But I now I feel like he's dealing with the whole uh, mental struggles of becoming a pro. And I think this is people don't realize that being a pro football player, a lot of the players will talk about taking care of your body, your mental. It's not just
Yeah.
about your physical gifts. You got to be able to put it together mentally and be strong, man. You gotta. These are NFL big boys out there, so we'll see, man. Even if we keep him around for depth, I'm okay. I mean, I do like Jack Driscoll as well. So, and who didn't Toth get some snaps out there at left tackle the
Yeah.
other day,
Yep.
which was I seen him because I'm a nerd like that. I was watching some of the practices, and I'm looking in the back, and I'm seeing Toth doing his sets at left tackle. I was like, him and Melada were sitting there just doing their thing in the back, and I was like, interesting,
You know, I'm a big
interesting.
Herbig fan.
Yeah.
I really like Nate Herbig, and Sam Aller better look out, man. 'Cause I believe Herbig could actually challenge him for that position.
Well, Lane Johnson's trainer was just on with one of our guys, Jimmy Smith from Fourth and John, and he was speaking highly of Herbie. Herbie is the
Hmm.
nickname.
Herbie, Herbie,
Talk
okay.
Herbie talked about how much weight he lost, like 50 pounds.
Hmm.
Really put in the work. Really like he was like he's a really hard worker. I feel like he took his off season really seriously, and I think he surprised some. But hey, man, it's a nice depth piece. You're talking about. Sure, you talk about Landon Dickerson, Sumalu, Herbig, Sua Opeta, give you some snaps as well. Um, I mean, they all got valuable snaps when our lineman went down last season. So we do have to be real. Like talk about center to right tackle. It's like the 30-30 club over there.
Yeah, no, it is.
You know.
And I have an idea, and I wanted to run it past you. But first, I need to know, how do you feel about Jurga?
I've heard some good things about him, and I haven't really like looked heavily into his game, but I think people have spoke highly of him. Um, you know, could he be a depth piece? Yeah, I think Suomalo or Dickerson would be that guy. I believe. I mean, Kelsey a couple years ago said Suomalo would be the guy that takes over for him, but then Landon Dickerson entered the chat, so we'll see. We'll see.
Well, I mean, my thought was if Sayamalu could actually play center at least if I was Jalen Hurts, I would want my 2 6 8 guys on my left side at left guard and left tackle. You know, I understand Dickerson was drafted to be our future center, but if Sayamalu can play it as well, if you would put Dickerson and Mailata right next to each other, left guard and left tackle, which we know Dickerson can play left guard. I don't know, man. I feel that would be a really deadly combination there, but maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, Dickerson's a mauler, though. You know, you just think about his game,
Yeah.
like his style, play style. Like he's the dude that's gonna beat you up in a phone booth. So, I feel like him next to Melada, I think that would be those would be like two Grizzlies, man,
Right?
just going at it.
Right?
And then the athleticism with Melada. I mean, Melada's a finisher too. Like he'll play to the whistle. Uh, Yeah, man. But Dickerson, if you gotta keep your head on a swivel around the pile around Dickerson, because I think that violent play style. I don't know if that is conducive to him staying healthy though. Like
Yeah.
you might want to lay off taking out a linebacker when you don't need to take him out if he's just milling around. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Um. So, what about what's it going to take here for Brooks to stay healthy this year? Now, granted, I know it's just a hamstring. I'm not worried about it, but it just seems like a lot has been happening on that right side of the offensive line the last couple of years. Now, granted, Johnson's healthy, this year so far, knock on wood, but is it just a freak accident? What's up?
I mean, I like Father Time is undefeated, so your body. Like I played football long enough, and like your body starts failing you. It's just
Yeah.
the thing that happens. I feel like a guy who moves like, um, Brandon Brooks does. He's out there kicking people, doing kung fu and stuff, whatever he's doing, jiu-jitsu, whatever. He's a guy
Yeah.
like at that size. Like your body's gonna give out, man. Like I feel like he's only given up like one sack in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been the definition of steady Eddie, man. Like he's been a
Yeah.
foundation piece, but I feel like we'll see, man. Like if his hamstring is, he said, it's just precaution, but it is what it is. Like anytime you're dealing with a hamstring and you're at that size, and Suamalo's dealing one with his hamstring as well, so that could
Yeah.
be something that he could injure down the road. So.
Do
But
you figure they're just being too lazy stretching in the mornings? Like, are they just not stretching their hammies out enough? Like, what's going on, man?
Hey, I remember my senior year in college, I blew out a hammy. Yeah. So I missed like 2 weeks. I was the healthy as I was my entire life, and I blew out a hammy. And I was just like, bro, this sucks. And it lasted like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a hard injury to, like, you never know, because you could tweak it again during the season. But I think he's definitely behind in terms of getting back to football. Like you missed, I don't care what they say. You missed like 2 weeks, a week. You got to. It takes you another week and a half to get back into football shape. So
Even if you're good.
yeah, I just feel like you still, I get, veterans have those mental reps that they've already been there, done that, but still, it takes some time to get back to who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So how old were you when you blew your hammy?
I was 22 years old. 22 years old,
22.
man.
Man, I made it to
No,
33 so far and never had one yet, so I don't want
really.
one. I heard they're painful. Yeah, I'm 33 and I've never had a hammy issue yet, but I don't want one. I've heard they're bad.
And I pulled a hammy at like 37. Popped my hammy.
Oh.
And then that was the second time ever. And then I was running on concrete, and then I fell on the concrete and I cracked a rib. That was the last time I sprinted. That was the last time I sprinted. But
right.
Yeah, man. I mean, hamstrings are no joke. I mean, those things come back in like, in a month or so, 2 months, it'll hit you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Yeah, I think the worst thing I ever had with mine, I used to do track and field in high school. I used to get shin splints all the time. That's
Okay.
the only issues I've ever had with my legs. And I hated shin splints too. Like, they're not fun either. But
Yeah, I ran track, never had shin splints though.
I got it from the triple jump.
Never had shin splints.
So let's get to the
So
defensive
are
side
you
of the ball here, my guy.
speaking about track, are you okay? Um
What? No,
I'm
no.
ready. Ready when you are.
What was your question? Sorry, I was lagging. No, I was lagging. Go ahead. Say something.
Oh, no, I was saying about the Olympics. I was like, are you enjoying the track and field events being uh, a track and field dude?
To be honest, man, I'm not even watching it. I got two kids under 5. I don't get really time to watch TV. So I am keeping up with it on Twitter, though. Yeah,
Okay. There's
yeah.
some good triple
But
jumps, man. You
I
missed
have
it.
been
So
watching them. I watched them years past, for sure.
okay.
But yeah, let's get to this defensive side here, man. We've been hearing a lot that we're running 3-4 and doing 4-3. We're kind of doing a mixed match of both. Uh, I'm wondering, could you possibly see JG switch the scheme in the middle of the game, or is he going to do this more along the lines of teams by week?
For a guy who's might want to add some wrinkles to this defense, I feel like that's a nice option to have. If you could do that mid game. I mean, some defenses have those hybrid looks anyway. But the fact that
Hmm.
you have those stand up pieces that we're talking about, like Jernard Avery. It's funny because I used to watch Jernard Avery out of when he was during draft season when I was like scouting him, and just seeing him rush off the edge and him being like a tweener guy. And I was like, this dude can get in there and create pressure, but he's like built like a rock, dude. And then he had that speed. And then I'm like, is he going to be able to do that when he gets to the NFL? And then, 3 years, 4 years later, he's, you know, picked up by our Eagles. And I'm like, all right, well, what are they going to do with him? So now here he has this role that, I used to see him do back in the day. Like, you could either rush him off the edge or he can play in space. I'm not going to say he's like, you know, Miles Jack in space or anything, but we'll
Hmm.
see what he is as a player. Like, who else will they try out there? I know Osman is playing in that stand up role.
Osmond,
Could
yeah,
Kerrigan do that as well? We'll see. I know it did. Kerrigan did that a couple times
yeah, he did that for Washington.
for Washington. So
Hmm.
did he come here figuring that, hey man, they got a role, give me some versatility. I could use my skills at. So I feel like it'll be nice.
What are we? Man, this is why I like having someone with like you with experience on, because some of these questions are tough. Like I said, the whole Mylota Dillard thing. If Dillard loses that job, can we afford to bench or have a first round pick riding the bench and being a backup? Same thing with the whole defensive end. If Sweat beats out Barnett, there you have two first round picks that kind of didn't do what we expected them to do, and now they're backing up two dudes who one was a seventh round, and I forget what Josh was, but I
Was
mean, is
was
that
Josh fifth
fifth? Was that what it was?
or fifth or fourth?
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so that's what I'm
Um,
saying. Like, you have two first rounders like that, man. Like, is this something we can truly do and feel comfortable doing?
no, I think you definitely can. I think it's NFL. It's not for long, man. You got to put up or shut up. What have you done for me lately? And if your lately isn't greatly improved, you got to see the bench, man. Like you see
Yeah.
teams do it all the time. They cut first round picks. The fact that you're keeping them on a roster to hold you know you're trying to save face. The sooner that you realize the player isn't the player that you expect them to be, the sooner you open up another roster spot for someone who can succeed. I mean, Josh Sweat, he was a top player coming out of high school. If he didn't have that gruesome leg injury, uh, Josh Sweat would have been, like he was one of the top players. He was used
Yeah,
inside at FSU. They had him lined up in I think it was called the I-9, where he was like head up, and he wasn't really used as a traditional. They'd brush him off the edge, but I thought he was used out of place. I felt
hmm
like Josh Sweat, he is who he is, man. Like the fact that he came in, he said that he's learned a lot about himself as a player. He thought he knew everything coming in as a rookie, and he was very transparent, saying, I realized I didn't know everything and I needed time to develop. And here he is, a guy who's showing the size, man. He already had the length coming in, right? So he's added muscle, he's added a lot of mass to the frame. Um, he's your true fireball off the edge, and I feel like Derek Barnett has also had a great, a really good camp. I like to call it bend it like Barnett. Like he still got the bend. What can he? We need him to finish though. But is he a finisher, or is he a more pressure dude? But and then you look at the money that we gave him. Well, they just you know they gave us some more cap relief. So we'll see what's going on. Like, did they lower his cap so that now they can move him? Like,
that's what I was thinking. That's what exactly what I was
yeah,
thinking.
I mean, because I mean, you just got to start thinking about follow the money.
No,
Follow, like if you follow the money, you'll see the moves coming a little ahead of time. Like, all right, like we got Kerrigan, we got Sweat, we got Graham, we have Milton Williams, who could give you potential juice off the edge.
yeah,
Move him inside, move Graham inside, move Milton Williams outside. Milton Williams is a whole like he's like the wild card dude in that bunch. So if they're seeing something from those guys and they're like, hey, we can move one of these guys, you know.
yeah. Well, and that was going to be my one question. Like, for instance, I had an idea of getting rid of Barnett and getting Chandler Jones. Would that be an option to look at?
I mean, I was you know, I mean, it would, but like, I know his cap hit is up there, right? Isn't it? He's in his 30s,
I
Chandler,
don't know what it is. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm not sure.
because I feel like, man, I would mind if you brought Jordan Hicks in, man. If you're talking about Arizona, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bringing a
No,
veteran linebacker
and plus,
to the
I think
mix.
Jones would be a better option than Barnett too. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? I mean, you know how they love they like, you know, it's not like it's Schwartz's defense, but having two deep across the front is a nice thing to
Hmm.
have. The
Yeah.
better the depth is, the more pressure you can create in the fourth quarter, keep guys fresh. I mean, I could dig it, but I think if you're trying to like be cute and try to improve one other spot somewhere else on the team, that's a possibility. Because if we got all this depth at edge, um,
Hmm.
make it make sense.
Yeah, because
Just
you could
like,
start Sweat and then use Jones like you're using Kerrigan as a rotational piece.
yeah, I mean, and then you want to see what the young guys that you have in place. What does
Yep.
Teron Jackson bring? Um,
He plays
so
with
what's
BG side, I think.
like, or I know they said that they're moving those guys around. Josh Sweat said that this year they're rushing them from both sides. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
and he said he's like, I could rush from any side you want. So we'll see. I mean, not every defensive end is created equally when rushing the passer on both sides. But Josh Sweat said he's good.
Now, do you believe that we didn't use him a lot so far because of durability issues? Sweat.
I know he was dinged up a little bit. I know he corrected Jeff Mosher on that tweet saying that he had, you know, was dealing with like an injury or like, they were limiting him his snaps or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, quit with the BS." I felt like he was very transparent. He's just saying, like I needed to come along. They had needed to groom me along, and I think he's there as a player now. Like I think Brandon Graham was telling Josh Sweat that he's like, man, we're all starting with a clean slate, and that's your position to win. Like no one is promised a starting position right now. Like he's like, go get it. So the fact that someone had asked him is like, is this like your career year here? Is like, and he's like, yeah, yes, and he's laughing, and the fact that his demeanor
Yeah.
was like, it was almost like he arrived, and it was almost like he knew it. He didn't want to say it. He didn't want to say, what his goals were, but he's trying to get paid, man. Like he didn't get that. He didn't get that big money contract. Like, of
Yeah.
course, he's got a lot of incentive to. I could think of a million reasons why, why he'd want to flourish this year.
Well, and my question was more durability wise. I was talking more along the lines of his knees. Holding up for a longevity of career, late years. Um,
Yep, sir.
you there, man?
You hear me?
Sorry, everybody. I apologize. We're having a connection issue right this moment. Hold
I think you're
on a sec,
back.
bud.
Well, I'm taking over the show. Just talking to Eagles like we should. Just, doing our best. Hopefully, you guys are out there ready for the season.
I don't know what the heck happened there, man. Sorry.
Hey, I was just helping you host while you were out.
Well, it showed you leaving my screen. That was weird. Like it showed you left.
I got booted.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah. Hey
That's
man.
weird.
Hey, this. Hey man, this whole Wi-Fi issue and doing streams live. It's part of the. It's part of the business. Part of
Yeah.
the business.
Um.
But what were you saying before you left?
Oh yeah. Well, I was talking more along the longevity of like his knees. Like are they worried about his knees? Because I was thinking with Sweat like that. I know that was one of the main things for him. Was they were worried about his knees coming out and like the longevity if he's going to have 10 years in the NFL because of his knees. If that's the case, would you not think that just playing full time, I'd rather have 3 or 4 really good years out of Sweat than just 10 decent years. You know what I mean?
Well, be be some incentive language in there in his contract. If you're trying to protect yourself as an organization, I mean, if you go back to his high school injury, it was pretty bad. Like they almost had, I believe they almost had to amputate. And you're talking about a guy who rebounded from all of that. Um, and then he had re-injured it. What is at Florida State? He had some issues with the knee, but it was
Yeah.
a gruesome injury. So I mean, the fact that he's here now and he's flourishing like everyone thought, I mean, if you forecasted him to be this guy when you drafted him, you're winning right now. You're from a front
Exactly.
office standpoint. You're like, all right, we got a guy who we got for cheap. You can get some production out of him this year. If you can make it out of this year healthy and everything's good, I mean, edge rushers is everything you need off the edge. Oh, 12,
JC says he's getting
12
12.
sacks. Ah, ah, ah,
You know that
ah.
that's
Okay.
messed up, man. Because I actually had Barnett getting 12. I actually think Barnett's gonna stomp this year, dude. Because he knows his ass is grass if he's not. You know what I mean? Like, this is your year to show it. If you don't prove it, you're pretty much not going to be an Eagle next year. Would you agree?
I'd agree. I feel like it's great for us as fans to see them compete, and if it takes one of them guys to rev up the other dude's engine, hey, so be it, man. If iron sharpens iron, if they can both go out there and compete, you're getting two guys flying off the edge, man. You and two different styles too. You know what I mean? They both got some technique to their game, but you know, I know Dillard will tell you what kind of technique they got.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Who has the best defensive line in the FC East?
NFC East.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I really think we got a great defensive line, man.
Right.
Like if you're gonna go, like you could cherry pick across different positions, right? You know, like, but if you're gonna go one, you know, right, you know, from edge to DT, like like Brandon Graham, you know, Josh Sweat, Javon Hargrave, rejuvenated, and Fletcher Cox. I mean, you know, Washington has some nice edges, you know, and they have Jonathan what's the tackle from Alabama?
Mm. It starts with a B, doesn't it?
I can't think of it right now, but hold on one second. I do think they have nice, you know, they got Chase coming off the edges, but I feel like, you know, overall, and I like the depth. I like the depth that we have, dude. Our depth is nice,
Yes, for sure. I do like the depth. You know,
and that's
I believe Kerrigan's our new Chris Long. Just we can hold on to him a couple more years. You know.
for me. That's not even like a homer thing. I think that's one of our strongest. That's our strongest group right there.
Yeah.
I mean, all offensive line. You know, they dealt with injuries, but like I think our defensive line is pretty sound.
Yeah, and you know this defensive line can only help out our secondary. You know, if we can get pressure on that quarterback a lot faster than you know most people, we should be able to make the quarterback slip up and make mistakes, which should help our cornerbacks a little easier too. You know,
Yeah,
especially if they're forcing the ball out and rushing a pass. You know, so
yeah. It was Jonathan Allen. That's who for Washington. You know what I mean?
thank you, Vic, my guy. He's always in here. Yeah, well, how about McPherson, man? Like, none of us thought we were going to see this from McPherson, you know? And I got to say, man,
You
I'm
know, there's
impressed.
you know a lot of, you know, we had some guys that were in our group were saying that he was going to be, you know, be a starter, potential starter, and I was like, yeah, I was like, let's wait and see. But from what everything that I've been seeing, Jock Talk, what's up, man? I feel like everything what we've been seeing and hearing, he's showing up, having pass breakups. You know, I know he's dropped a couple pick sixes, but I feel like, you know, he's got some interceptions as well, and I feel like right now he's flourishing. And Jonathan Gannon, was saying that a lot of rookies have issues coming in, adapting what they've learned and having it applied to the football field. They said right away He's applying everything that we're coaching, and it hasn't been an issue. And he's showing up. So that's a nice bonus. I wanted him to have a veteran in front of him that he could learn from. We didn't have to throw him into the fire. It helped with his confidence, let him grow into the position, and he's got that opportunity. So that you love to see it.
Like, so should Maddox be scared of McPherson and even Scott at this point? Because I've been hearing good things about Scott as well.
I think in terms of being challenged as a football player, I feel like you always need competition. Injuries happen. We've seen Maddox get injured in the past. I think he's got to bring his A game. You know, whether it's so be it. Like he's got to put up. You know, it's almost a career year for him too, man. You know, the fact that he's gonna, you know, any position's just not given. So that's that West. Get the All Stars in here,
Yeah,
man.
that's my partner in crime right there.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, for sure. We all roll together. We're all good friends, so
Yeah, man. I've
all
been on
about
his
love
show
and
as well.
support, man.
JC as well. There's a lot of
Yeah,
you Eagles YouTubers, man, are killing it, man. Much respect to you guys.
thank you. I
I guess
appreciate it.
I guess we're Eagles
Trying to,
YouTubers.
man.
We're new on the YouTube scene. We even put content out there, but our Fourth and John page is fairly new because we used to put it on E's page. So hey man, it's really great to link with a lot of you Eagles creators, man. Everybody's got their own like ideas and different styles to talk about their Eagles. And it's always great. You know, if you're a geek and you like the Eagles, I always appreciate a geeky football Eagles conversation any day of the week.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, I'm 33, so I've been watching for a long time. I've seen McNabb. I got to catch Randall Cunningham at the end of his career. You know,
Like
um, I
Kelly
got to
Green.
see Fletch start his. Oh yeah, Kelly Green for sure, all day.
Yeah.
Do you want him
I
to
mean,
bring him back full time?
yeah. Yeah. I think it's time.
Yeah,
But I feel like for a younger
I think so too.
if you're in your 20s, like this is all you know. You know what I mean? Like for
Yeah.
older Eagle fans, you're like, hey, well, I saw a good portion of Kelly Green. So in my life, so like, you know, to us, it's the Midnight Green at one point was like, oh, this is just like a couple year thing. They'll go back to Kelly Green and never, you know, it is what it is. But I understand. But in a day and age where everybody can get what they want, you see Oregon Ducks have like 7 uniforms, bro. Like
I know, I
NFL, get
love
with
it.
the
I
times.
love it.
Get with NFL, get with the times, man. You should have like 7
Right?
uniforms in the chamber, ready to go. Old school 1 week, new school, black jerseys, like white, pure white. You know what it is. It is what it is. Spur gang in the house.
Man, I really want to. I saw one of the thumbnails for Philly Foothills, or not Philly Foothills, but Philly 500's one stream that he did, and it has the Eagles in a white helmet with a green uh, wing on it on each side. Dude, I would love white helmets, man. That would be sick.
I mean, get with the times, man. Like now, you see now they're switching to jerseys. They're
Right?
like, all right, yeah, we can get more jersey sales. That's. I mean, how long has it been? Like now you have DBs. When I was in college, all the DBs were like 2, 3. You know, they get to NFL, they can't wear those numbers. Come on, man. Deion Sanders wearing it too. Uh, I
You want
just
to
feel
talk
like
about this one?
he's doing some things over there, and he's got coaches running. Um, I think that's kind of embarrassing to your coach to have him run with the players. I mean, you try to like You don't want to try. You don't want to try and belittle your coaches in front of their players. You know what I mean? I think that I just feel like those guys are fighting and stuff. Fights happen in camp. They do.
Yeah.
Um, it's just the optics of right now might look a little, like what's going on over there. Who is there? Joe Thuney retired too. Ex Cowboy Joe
Yeah.
Thuney retired.
Yep. Um, do you think that is a that they should be worried about continuity after that fight? Like, do you think this is something that will, you know, split the team in half?
I mean, when I was in college, we had a fight. We had fights every year. This is like you get new energy in there. Some might be a young dude who like takes the head off of a senior or something, and you're like, there's proper etiquette. You know what I mean? Like I remember I was a freshman. I
Yeah.
did some senior cornerback up dirty, burnt him, and I kind of smirked, and the linebacker took my head off and stood over me. He was a senior. He was like, "Welcome to college football, asshole." And I'm like, "That's what we're doing." So then we got this big brawl that happened. It happens, but I feel like sometimes it brings some of the guys together. Like your offense. It's usually an offensive defensive thing. You know, someone will cheap shot one of your players, and you're like, "Hey," and I believe Corey Komet got hit. He got hit. So an
Yeah.
ex Eagle in the middle of that drama. It was nice to see. Maybe it was a plant. Corey's like, I'll bring drama.
he's he's our undercover agent over there.
He's a plant. He's a plant.
um, I gotta ask that dude you were talking about, the linebacker. Did he make it to the NFL, and who was it?
His name is Tommy Del Vecchio. You never forget the dude that embarrassed you and took your head off. He's a very successful dude. Good guy. But I didn't forget. Okay, did not forget.
I bet.
But his linebacker coach does coach for the Bills now. Shout out to Coach Salgado. Yeah, but
There you go. So let's talk about these corners, man. Slay and Nelson, real quick. He was a very big advocate to bring him over here. He definitely did a lot of the recruiting process for us for him. Um, you know, is that going to be a top duo this year? Do you think?
I think it's a really strong 1-2 punch. I always talk about having that security system. We got the front door locked. We got the security cameras. We're good to go. We got the left side of the house. Good. We had Darius Slays in the house. We're good on the other side. And I was just like, now we got the other side door open. Can we just close it? Here we got Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
serviceable. Is he he's had his moments where some of the DBs have had their way, but you're probably going to get some serviceable play from him. I thought he was just like the last added piece to the puzzle. We have a new secondary. I don't know if everyone's noticed in the last couple
Yeah.
years. This isn't your uncle's Jalen Mills, Ronald Darby led tandem. I mean, this is a pretty
Yeah.
decent group. We have Harris as well added to the mix. They just have to learn each other's play style, and you have to learn their communication. How will they communicate during the games? McLeod is not going to be back right away. I don't think. He said he could be there for week 1, but we'll see. I don't think so. But I feel
Yeah.
like they're all a new group, learning each other, all new coaches, new defense. So there's some, you know, there could be some questions there how they gel together as a unit. You know what I mean? But on paper, I like it.
No, I like it too, man. Like you bring up Harris. I really love that Harris signing. I really love the Wilson signing. But I have really high hopes for Kayvon. I got really high hopes for Jacoby Stevens. In fact, I don't really want to rush McLeod back. If he has to sit the first 3, 4 games, let him rest, man. I want to see what Kayvon and Jacoby has anyway. So just let these kids play, get them out or get McLeod back to 100, and then we'll talk. You know.
I totally buy into that idea. I was watching Kayvon's presser and the fact that he was speaking like he's like he said I'm a future star. Uh, and I'm like, okay, like I like that confidence. I like how he feels about what his game could potentially be. I felt like
Yeah.
he kind of owned up to the idea that you know during the COVID season it was very tough to learn the system, having no OTAs and being rushed into everything. He didn't get the opportunity that with the whole full off season in a training camp like we have now. I think this is where he's learning, and he's going to get an opportunity. So we'll see what we got in him. But I like the way he's thinking, and I like the confidence. So
How about Stevens?
Jacoby was talking about being like a positionless player when he was coming out of the draft and being that potential guy for a team. Talked about positionless basketball, like being, those guys that can play multiple positions. And in this new NFL, like multiplicity is everything. And I think, it'll take some time. I really do like the way he carries himself. I do feel like he's definitely a wild card as well. Like when you see players and you're like, yo, this guy's got presence, and I
Hmm.
believe what he's talking about. His draft party was at his workout facility. Like his family came to his draft, where he was working out. Like he's like, I've been locked in this place since the college season was stopped. And just he's like, I wanted to celebrate here. He's like, I've been putting my work in here, and the fact that I'm going to get the opportunity to showcase my skills and being an Eagle, um, I like it. Did you see what he mentioned when he was coming in during the draft? Someone asked him, like, you played against Devontae Smith. How do you feel about Devontae? And he was just like, he's like, believe it or not, like you would think all college wide receivers know how to read defenses. He's like, Devontae Smith is like on another level. Like that, the way that he sees things is like way different than most wide receivers. So I thought that was a nice little nugget. I was like, all right. I was like, this guy giving us nuggets and the presence. I love it. I love the energy. So we'll see. We'll see what he is a player. He's gonna get opportunity, man, coming up in these scrimmages and in some of these preseason games. So can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I know, man. I actually hope Joe leaves this year or when he's gone next year because I actually want to see if Stevens takes number 7 from him.
Oh, really? Okay. We'll see. We'll
Yeah,
see.
because that's what
You
he
know,
rolled with at LSU. Remember?
yeah. He lit Devontae Smith up too in college.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
think it was one of the hardest hits he took. Um, we'll see though.
You know, Vic brought up one, and I actually like it because I brought it up the other day, and I'm going to ask you because it is a good one. Hold on, let me see here. Um, yeah, Jamal Singleton. We lost Deuce last year. Deuce is a very big guy for us. You ask any Eagle fan, we love Deuce. Deuce is Deuce. He's awesome dude. Okay. This Do we lose anything bringing in Singleton, or do you believe Singleton will be able to keep up what Deuce was doing and maybe even take us to another level?
I think you know losing a guy like Deuce. I had last year at the Eagles Autism Challenge. I had like 25-minute conversation with Deuce. He was just so open and so he was just telling me everything about no, that 2 years ago, not last year, pandemic. Uh, and just losing a guy like Deuce is it's tough for the camaraderie with the team. But I feel like I think the new coach, he has the opportunity to make his own um, legacy with these guys in the room. They said, I believe they said he had like a military background, and they you know likes to keep it light. I feel like it's hard to replace a Deuce, but he's got to make he's got to make it his own. You know what I mean? And how they
Yeah.
you know respect what he's putting down right now. All the running backs are looking good in camp right now, so he's obviously doing his job somehow because they all look pretty good. So at the moment, we'll see what it is, man. It's still kind of early though. I'd like to see what these guys are doing in some games and some preseason. Um,
Yeah.
but I know he's definitely attacking the football, hitting those guys, really trying to knock the ball out. So I feel like, we'll see.
Um, Now linebackers, man. I had a debate and I had an argument the other day with one of my colleagues. Actually, they said that they didn't want to trust our linebackers because they weren't proven enough. Okay. Now, granted, I understand that argument. You could sit there and say they're not proven enough, but in my eyes, when you got a guy who only played 14 games and had 120 tackles, and then you have another guy who only played like 11 games and had 112 tackles, and one had a pick six and another one had like three interceptions, and you know, how much do these guys have to prove before we call these guys proven? Because Singleton and Wilson combined last year alone were like 250 tackles between both of them. If they can emulate that year this year and both on our team, like
Yeah, I mean,
what's
I,
your
I think
thoughts?
I think on paper, like Wilson and Singleton, they could be your guys. And Davion Taylor, you're just hoping that he brings something else to the table with his athleticism. Um, Obviously, he's got a ways to go to be a cerebral dude. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he stayed around. Where some people that I know him were like, "Hey, man, he's staying in town. He's very serious about learning the playbook. He's doing his thing out here." Um, so I feel like, yeah, like you could say that these guys are they super proven enough to get the big contract. Wilson
No.
coming here, knowing parts of the defense. You like you like what you like what they said about Wilson in terms of when Barr went down with injury and him coming up and becoming a
Mm-hmm.
leader and having the guys gravitate towards him. Those are kind of things you'd like to hear. But you know how our linebackers are set up. Your Kevin Hart voice. Like that's where we don't want to spend that money. So, like how our linebackers are set up. If they can get any
Yeah.
serviceable production and hybrid type, give you some ability in space for a cheap amount, they'll do it. They don't want to throw a lot of money at the position. Um, but you're just hoping like a Davion Taylor, a third round pick, becomes who you think he is. Um, but I mean, overall, I mean, you when you look at the depth chart, you know, it's not. It's we just talked about Jacoby Stevens. You'd like to see what Sean Bradley brings to the table. He played some snaps last year. T.J. Edwards, is he just a two down thumper? Like, do you trust him in space? But again, as an undrafted free agent, for him to showcase his ability and make a roster and push other guys out of the way, he showed that he's serviceable. Um, you know, like do I want him on Saquon Barkley in space? No, not at all. Uh, I mean, Davion Taylor, a guy who could run 22 miles an hour. I mean, you're hoping that that transitions into somebody who can play in space. But I feel like with football IQ, he could play faster once he knows exactly what he's doing. So I know he's dealing with a quad injury now, right?
Yeah. Um. Well, shoot, there was one. Hold on, I just lost it for a second. Oh yeah, you might know this more because you do have the inside on some things. Do you know why we kind of went away from linebacker not being so important and corner not being so important? Because, like I said, I remember growing up as a kid, man, our defense were dirty. You know, they really were. You had Brian Dawkins, you had D'Amico Ryans. You know, we had linebackers. We had Asante Samuel. You know, we've always corners back then. Like, why did we get to the place where this stuff isn't important to us anymore? Because it's
I think it's
frustrating.
just like front office. You know, in terms of like, I'm sure they've done some kind of study on like, you know, valuing the position. You know what I mean? The fact that we haven't valued it or like threw tons of money at it, like Jordan Hicks opportunity to get paid, and we're like, yeah, we'll let someone else. You know, like, you know, I think there's like, you know, they definitely have some kind of study on that. Me personally, like having a linebacker that can roam, but I mean, you also have to throw draft capital at it, and like it's not just money, it's draft capital.
Yeah.
Like, when's the last time we drafted a linebacker first round, second round?
Um,
We got we
like
got
probably
we got we got
2000,
Hicks,
maybe.
we got Hicks in the third round.
Yeah.
Jordan Hicks, third round. So I feel
Yeah,
like
yeah, I'd have to say our linebacker that we got in the first would have to be back in like the early 2000s, like that far back.
it could be even farther than that. It
Yeah,
could be
could be.
it could be way farther than that.
It could be way
So
farther than that. You're right. But that's sad though, man. That's sad.
I mean, but it is like, you know, if you're going by the school of like Andy Reid, where you go get your corners, you pay big money at corner position, edge rusher, left tackle, right tackle, you pour money into quarterback, and the other positions, you know, linebacker, you know, you could Nigel Brad, like if they won a Super Bowl with Nigel Bradham, Najee Good, guys like that, you know, you're like, they already answered their own question. They're like, we won a Super Bowl with lesser talent at linebacker. They poured all their money into they they put their money into trenches, offensive line, defensive line. You know, they followed that recipe, and they did show you that they could win a Super Bowl if you pour money into the trenches. That year, we were top five of money at both offensive
Okay.
line and defensive line. So that's where the money goes. You got Fletcher Cox. Oh, if Fletcher Cox can do what he does, all you need is a linebacker to pick up the trash.
Yeah.
You know, and play in space. You don't need a super thumper if Fletcher Cox is doing it what he needs to do. You know what I mean?
So is that kind of the reason for Wilson?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, he's a guy who knows the defense too. You know, it knows what they're trying to do. You know, his linebacker coach also was there with him at the Vikings as well. So
Mm-hmm.
you're talking about, you know, a guy who's going to be helping set this defense up and get him lined up correctly. You know, him and Harris both are coming from that tree. So, you know, I feel like on paper, those guys they're gonna to me they're gonna be serviceable, but I'm not gonna be like, you know, they're Ray Lewis out there, or, you know, they're gonna be you know, I mean, to me, I still some people are like, get KJ Wright, get Jordan Hicks, like bring another guy in here, but it's still early, man. It's still early in camp. Want to see what these guys got, and then if not, bring someone in.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I don't know if I want to really touch the linebacker room yet or not. Maybe wait a little bit, see what we have, and then maybe do it. I don't know. That one's a little touchy yet because, like I said, I still have a lot of prayers in Bradley and Taylor. I think highly of both of them. Even T.J. Edwards. He has the upside, but yeah, that position group there, man, that's definitely one to keep an eye on, for future references. But we've been live for an hour and 20 minutes, man. I appreciate you so much for coming on here with me.
Hey man,
I'm a
appreciate
small time
appreciate your
dude, so
hey man, I appreciate your support as well, man. And it's always great to talk the Eagles with the community, man. This is what it is, man. Like these are conversations that we have in if we're cracking open a beer at a bar or whatever. This is what it is, man.
right. Now, before we get you out of here, I do have one question for you. And I've put a lot of thought into this. We have a lot of people out there saying, like, we have a lot of interest right now in Alshon Jeffrey, bringing him back, getting a vet in this room. And I am so against that. If we bring in any vet, man, I'm telling you right now, I want Larry Fitzgerald. Because Larry Fitz, one, I don't think you're going to need but only maybe 10 to 15 plays a game for him. Just like he did in Arizona, he kind of knew his role. He didn't play a lot. He was more of a mentor than he was, a player. And I believe Fitzgerald is the perfect person to bring in this room to mentor these young guys. But let me get your thoughts. Is it Alshon for you or is it Fitz for you?
No, I think if you were going to bring somebody in, if they wanted to, Alshon, they know what they can get from Alshon. We know that Alshon, staying healthy is that a thing with him at this point in his career. I know he hasn't left the area yet. I know
Yeah.
friends of mine have said that he's still in the area. But I feel like Larry Fitzgerald. You're just talking about a guy who can play slot. He can play the big slot
Mm-hmm.
position. Um, if you're really trying to bring him into mentor, like I get it. I do want a veteran presence. Like can he give you more than what a J-Jaw could potentially? Uh, could he teach these guys how to be pros? Yeah. Um, but you're the first person who brought up the Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, the fact that I wanted Larry Fitzgerald like a decade ago. Like I've been dying for him to be on the Eagles.
Right.
The fact that we would get him at his like lowest point in his career, I'd still take him. That's how great he is as a player. But
Yeah.
it's like for me. It's like I wanted him like a decade ago. You know what I mean?
Well, and it's like I said, man. For me, it's more of a mentor role.
Yeah.
It's not much of a playing. It's more of coming in, helping them. But other than those two, I've also heard Golden Tate. Now I don't mind Golden Tate. He did decent for us for the half season he was here. But is there anyone else you can think of that you would possibly, off the top of your head, veteran wise, besides those three?
Unless they're trying to get people that are going to get cut or released. You know what I mean? I think I would go that route. See,
Yeah.
a Patriots blogger reached out to me. He's like, "How would you feel about what's the name? The Patriots receiver from Arizona State, first round pick."
Harry?
Yeah. They were.
Yeah,
Would
then
you?
Nikhil Harry.
That I know they. I believe they worked out Josh Doxson as well. But I didn't see anyone really report that one. But I heard that they had worked him out. Um, We'll see though. I mean, I still I like when I look at the group, the only guys that yes, I like Dante Moncrief. That is definitely Vic's right there. I like that one. Um, But you look at the back end, like who the only two people that you see that you can move off that is J Jaw or Hightower. Like those, pick your poison. Like who are you? Like if you think about Hightower, a guy who can separate, but he's not really a finisher at the catch point, but he can separate. Or now J Jaw,
Yeah.
the target's on you. So if they feel like J Jaw is not given, which they said J Jaw is looking decent.
Yeah, but
Did
they
you
said
see
that
his
last
pressure?
year too.
Yeah, I mean that's I have my targets on J Jaw. That's it. If you as a coach in a front office, you're like, we're not getting it from J Jaw, then you go out and that's who you replace. Like if you brought in Larry Fitzgerald, hey, I'll take that over, and Larry also plays the slot.
Yeah.
They said J Jaw's playing slot
Yeah.
mostly on the slot right now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. I would so take Larry over J Jaw. Like, in my opinion, bro, I'm done with J Jaw. Like, as far as I care, man, we could get rid of him tomorrow, and I wouldn't shed a tear over it. But that's just my
I just
opinion.
think I just think you got to be forward thinking. If you're gonna cut your losses, cut your losses.
Wait a second, are you serious, bro? Day's still a free agent? If that's the case, hell yeah, jump on that. I like Westbrook. How about you?
Well, I'm wondering, does he have any personal issues? Didn't he get arrested
Oh,
for
I didn't even know he was available.
didn't he have a domestic violence situation back in the day?
I have no idea. Vic, answer that one, sir.
I think so, man. Oh, he had health issues
That's
back in the day too. Um,
mm. Yeah, man. I don't know. Like, I know we've put a lot of investment
yeah,
into this
he,
wide
he was
receiver room
arrested.
the last 2 years.
He was arrested twice for domestic violence.
Yeah, never mind. Forget it.
Oh yeah,
I'm okay with that.
I'm good.
Well, see,
I'm
and
good.
that's why I'm not a fan of bringing Deshaun Watson here, man. Because in my opinion, that's a PR nightmare. We don't need that shit anymore.
Yeah, I think in terms of the optics of that would be really bad. Even if he does clear, I think that's where the Eagles would sign him next year. If they bring him in next year, if they had to like make that move, see what Jalen can do. But again, people are gonna freak out. Even if all these different cases, it's just the optics of it is really bad. We all how we feel about you Ben Roethlisberger. I still don't feel. Every time I see that dude, I'm like, yo, why is he still playing, bro? Like, why? You know. Well, but again, it is we do have to wait for all the facts to come out before we even. Just the optics look real bad. Something's not right.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you know what, man? I got to deal with that shit all the time. My wife's a Steelers fan. I'm an Eagles fan, so it's an interesting household
Well,
here.
man. Your
Hey,
house divided, and then you got a
yeah,
Jordan jersey up.
yep.
No
Oh yeah, no,
Sixers.
I'm a big Chicago
No
Bull fan,
Sixers.
man. That's who I root for.
I mean, we all can't be perfect. It's all right.
Who do you root for?
Yeah, Sixers, man. Come on, man.
Oh, okay.
I'm a
Well, they're
three.
my
I'm a
second
three
team,
for
man.
three.
I just Jordan was my childhood, you know.
Oh, so, bro, you know how many pairs of Jordans I have? I have literally 60 pairs of Jordans sitting over there. So I'm a fan of Jordan. Okay, so
Yeah. I wish I had 60 pairs of Jordans. I used to.
yeah, man, it's totally a personal problem that I have. I'm addicted to sneakers.
Hey, you know, if there's one thing you can be addicted to, man, sneakers is the best thing. I love shoes. I'm a big shoe guy.
Yeah, man. Yo, even cleats, man. Everything's got to be right, man.
Yep.
Everything's got to be right, man.
Because you got to wear them and
But
walk in them, you know?
it's a bit, it's a thing, man. It's a thing.
Yeah, definitely is. Well, listen, man, I do appreciate you for coming on and, you know, taking the time out here with me and discussing this a little bit. I did have fun. I do apologize. I had a little bit of
Hey,
shaky
man.
internet this evening, and I don't know why, but
I've lived through it all, man. I've lived through it all. You know what I mean? I just no. I
yeah.
thanks for having me on your platform. I had a good time, man. Talking birds, man. For real.
Yeah, definitely, man. And hopefully, you know, I can get you back on sometime here soon and we'll have more to talk about, you know, especially
Yeah,
when the
and
season gets closer.
I know you said you were talking about coming down to a game. Make sure you come down and tailgate with us.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll be down there on the 22nd, like I said. So if you're there, I'll
All
see you.
right, cool, bro. All right.
Now, do you guys tailgate normally, like, because I haven't been there for that? Do you guys go down like all day, or do you go down at a certain time, or what for practices?
We for practices we don't tailgate for practices, but for the games we tailgate for
Okay.
every single home game we tailgate. So
Well, I'll be down there for the Kansas City one, so I'll see you then.
all right, man. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Hey, I'll be there. I'll be twittering you. Don't worry.
All right.
But yeah, hey,
It's a deal.
everyone, I do appreciate each and every one of you coming out. You know, I am AK Eagles, and this is the Eagles Uncensored podcast. Don't forget, at 200 subs, giving away a vintage Eagles blanket to one lucky winner. So definitely, you know, go ahead and sub up for that. And I appreciate you coming on, man. Truly, I do. And you know, why don't you finish us off here and let everyone know where they can find you? Not like they need to, but you know.
We're at Fourth and John on all socials. We just weekly podcasts, weekly live streams, always talking our birds. We like to meet up with folks as well. So if you're going to events, we're probably going to be there as well. So always looking forward to like linking up with new Eagle fans and just new Eagle junkies who want to talk to birds 24/7. So yeah, man, check us out at fourthandjohn.com as well. Check out some of our writers' content. So yeah, I mean, it's all there. Birds all day, every day, every hour.
That's all it is, man. Hey, you know, my favorite saying for this is let's make YouTube go green. You know, we are the biggest content creators on YouTube. There is tons of us. I have not seen any other team out there that has as many as we do. You know, YouTube is not red anymore. It is green. We made it
Hey
go
man,
green. So,
it's the best color to be rocking, bro.
yep,
So we're good.
right. I like that hoodie, by the way. That's dope.
Mitchell and Ness. I like to collect my vintage. My vintage collection is kind of crazy. I just bought like a on-field Reebok midnight green jacket. It was like from like the freaking like 90s.
Oh wow.
I didn't did I need it? No. Did I want it? Yeah. It
Right.
is what it
Nah,
is.
man, I'm still looking for a Randall Cunningham jersey, dude. I've been looking for one of those
Just
forever.
I just bought the white Mitchell and Ness, and then I had the green Mitchell and Ness I bought like 3 years ago. So during the pandemic, the first thing I needed, I was like, you know what? I need a white Randall Cunningham Mitchell and Ness. And that's what I'll be wearing to the practice on Sunday.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're going
Yep.
down this Sunday, the 8th? Cool.
Sunday, and then
All
probably
right,
the
man.
open. All right, dude. It
Okay.
was good. It was good checking in with you, man. I'll keep up with you. And as always, go birds, baby.
Yes. exactly. I once again, man, appreciate you. So, yeah, appreciate you all for joining in. Like I said, sorry. I, I was